Good evening, everyone. So I decided to do something that was put on my heart today. And I totally forgot that it was the 14th, and I don't celebrate this day like most people do. It's just this, a regular day for me. But what is love? What is love? Who is love? What is the biblical definition of love? How many times does the Bible talk about love? And what is the highest form of love? So these are some of the questions I hope to talk about and answer. So we're going to go through some fun stuff, and I just think this will be fun. So here we go. So everyone is going out and buying flowers and, doing the thing on this day, right? And if you don't buy those flowers for your woman, you're going to be in trouble, because she might not think that you love her, right? But what really is love, right? What is love? Is there a biblical love and a love that is more of the world? I want to share something with you all before we go into some scriptures. I talked to my dear sister, Linda Rose Spirit Song today, and she said something that was very profound to me, and I wanted to share it with you all. And it's a little interesting because I'm here. It's around 1:30 in the morning, and I just was thinking about how much love our Creator has for us, our Messiah, Yahushua HaMashiach, that He died on the cross for us to take away the sin of the world. I remember there were times when, and this happened to me a few times, I was driving to work and listening to a song, or I think one time I was just driving to work thinking about what our Messiah went through. And just the images alone just touches my heart, but also makes me so sad and cry out in tears, because we just can't, imagine going through this kind of pain or this kind of torture, right? But this is the kind of love that we must have for one another, the love that surpasses understanding, the love that we would die for our brethren, we would die for our wives, for our husbands, for our children. I know many of you know this kind of love, because you can't imagine losing your family members. But there is even more to get into when it comes to the subject, because if you know what agape is, that is the highest form of love in the Bible. And I just want to read something to you real quick. I'm going to read it from my email here. Now, would you disagree that this is what love is? That's the question. And my sister wrote today, I find it very compelling that on this day, that to me is like any other day, that most see it as a very special day to show their love for those who are most important in their lives. And yet, even with whatever display of love you give or receive, it falls significantly short. Why? Because there is only one who holds the true title and attribute of love. That is our Yahuwah, Yahusha, the Father and the Son. The very one who sent his Son to die for us, even while we were yet sinners. The very one who laid down his life in our place. For he who knew no sin became sin on our behalf. Now, would you disagree that this is what love is? And that's really the truth. There is no greater love than a sacrifice. So there are two forms of definitions of true love in the Bible. One of them is agape, and one of them is basically defined as sacrifice. Because we must sacrifice ourselves daily, to help someone. Sometimes, you may be helping someone, do some kind of chore or something, and you're like, oh man, I'm hungry, but I'm just going to help this person for another 30 minutes. I got to help my dad. I got to help my mom get this job done for them, or whatever it is. We sacrifice these things for our loved ones, and that's a small scale, but there's so many ways that we can show our love for others. And it's not always by our words, it's by our actions, right? And, I was just thinking about this today because we are just all trying to humble ourselves more and more each day. And how amazing is it that, when our Messiah was with his disciples, he was so kind and loving, even to his enemies. He said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." His love is so beyond anything that I can even imagine, because he did this for all of us. He bore the stripes, for us. So when they try to come with man's traditions and, say that this day is about, buying things for someone or these kind of things, this is nice, but this is not what we call true love. What we call true love is, showing it through our actions and through the fruit that we produce. And when you really do a study into the word, it's everywhere. The word love itself is in so many verses. It actually, I got it written down here. It occurs 310 times in 280 verses in the King James Version. So with that being said, everyone, I want to play a song real quick from my sister's channel, and I hope you enjoy it. And then we'll go through some other things, because if you have some comments about what you feel is great about God's love, what you feel is your definition of love, feel free to share that in the comments. But yeah, let me share something here. And I'll come back in just a bit.
You love the joy of the Father, the joy that He has over you. With one glance of your eye, you have promised His heart. And with one word from your mouth, you have caught His eye. You have promised His heart. You have caught His eye. You are greatly loved by the King of all kings, by my beloved Lord, by the Creator of all things. You are greatly loved by the King of all kings, by my beloved Lord, by the Creator of all things. You are greatly loved by the King of all kings, by my beloved Lord, by the Creator of all things.
So what I was saying was, we truly are here to experience the truth of love, to love your neighbor as yourself, to love your enemies, and follow after what our Messiah has done in His example. And this is the big test. It really is. Because if everyone had this kind of connection and fear of the Most High, Yahuwah, our Elohim, and they knew what true love was, and they obeyed the commandments and, followed the Creator of love. It is said that our Yahusha, our Messiah Himself, is love, right? So when we think about how we are to be in this world, we have to follow after Him. It would make sense that we have to become love also. We're taking off sin and putting on the uncorruptible, that we're taking off, all of the bad and putting on the good. And in order to do this, we must fully understand what love is. And so I just wanted to make this video, because I think there are so many people in this world right now that they have, it's covetousness. It's the love of things, the love of, oh, I hope I get this for Christmas, or I hope that my husband buys me this, or how many flowers did you get on this certain day or that certain day? I mean, there are so many false ideas of what love is in this world. It's based on money and riches. It's based on selfishness, ego, and pride. You know, when you become born again, when you become, transformed, the Father really humbles you and starts to pull you out of this world and helping you to be set apart. And this is why we're here, is to get prepared and ready for seeing his face and being in front of him on that judgment day. And every one of us will. So what you do here really is the most important thing. It's not about our works, but who you are and how you treat others is important. There's no way around that. You know, we must follow in the example of our Messiah, our Yahusha. He was a perfect example of what love is. Even when you look at the story of Stephen, you know, he was stoned, and even after he was stoned to death, he said similar things that our Father said, our Messiah said. He said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. So we must be willing to be sacrifices. We may not be persecuted in the way that we fear, but we shouldn't fear these things, really. We should focus on the love that we have for him and what he did for us. And we cannot forget that. We cannot put that aside. That is everything. Our relationships with other people, no matter what circumstance we're in, when someone is getting, angry at you and you want to defend yourself, your pride is starting to bubble up because you're just mad because you're like, oh, this person is wrongfully accusing me, and it's hard. It's really hard to deal with these things. We all struggle with this, but sometimes it's better just to walk away. It's better to love the person, because this is a process. Like when we were young, we would just blow up, right, at our friends when they did this. But now when we get older and we realize, the backlash of that and just how it's not going to make the situation better, right? I know I'm taking my time. I'm kind of talking slow here, but just trying to, speak from my heart. This is something that is so very important. And I feel that many are loving themselves, their lives, but we are told in the scriptures not to love this world. Those that love this world are not with the Father, right? We must not love the things of this world. We must love our Messiah, our Father, and fear him and obey his commandments. This is the least we can do. There is so much more we can do. We can help others. We can be a voice to help others out of situations. When they were almost on the point of suicide or whatever it may be. there's so much help to be done. There's so many people that need help in this world. And, you know, some of them don't want that help. You know, some people just are kind of in that position where they're just trapped, you know. But we still love them. We still love them from afar if we have to, but it's so important to be there for people when they're going through struggles. So that being said, everyone, I really hope that you evaluate your position and your love that you have or don't have with the Most High in these times, because this is what it all boils down to: is what are you loving? Are you loving the things of this world, or are you loving the true word, which is our Messiah? He is the true word, and he paid the price for us. And we are not greater than our master. And we will have to, you know, go through some of these things, these similar things, maybe even worse than, you know, we can imagine. But this is what we're being prepared for, everyone. We're really being prepared for the ultimate test of showing who we truly love, right? If we are put in that position where you have to make a decision where it's either him, the Most High, or yourself in this world, in the beast system, you know, your flesh, whatever you want to say, what will you do? You know, this is the whole point of trying to understand where your heart must be. You know, if your heart is not in the right place, it's going to be increasingly difficult for you. And there's going to be a lot more that gets thrown at you. Just put it that way. But anyway, I'm rambling on here, but I just wanted to say I appreciate every one of you. I love each and every one of you. And I hope that you go out there and share the love with someone, your family members, your friends, your coworkers, and even your enemies. They'll think you're peculiar. They'll think you're weird. They may not like it, but just kill them with kindness, right? All right, everyone. Have a great day. And I hope I didn't do too bad in this video. I had the mic off for a little bit, but you know, we all make mistakes, right? So until next time, everyone, go out and be a representation of what our true Messiah was. He was the definition of agape. He was a definition of true love because of his sacrifice. So until next time, aloha.
You were the only one worthy. You were the only one able.
Shalom, everyone. This is Brian with the Wise Men Will Hear, and I'm going to do a second part, a more in-depth part into the description and the actual definitions of love and agape and all the different forms in the Hebrew and the Greek. So if you haven't seen my first part, I just put out this morning. Basically, I had to actually edit it because I put out a video, The Greatest Love Ever, Part 1, and basically there was a section of 7 minutes in the middle of that video that I didn't have my microphone on. I apologize, and I wish it would have never happened because I had some really good information in that section, and now I got to do it all over. But it's okay. We make mistakes, right? We move on, and still learning. So anyway, I want to get right to it, everyone. I think you're going to enjoy this. This is a deeper look at what love is, when it pertains to the world, when it pertains to our Messiah and how we treat others and all these things. So yeah, I apologize if my last video, it seems like right after the song I played, I said a few things, but that's because there was a portion of the video snipped out. But instead of trying to doctor and add it in, I just decided to make a part 2. So with that being said, everyone, I'm going to share my screen and I'm just going to do this video. It shouldn't be too long, but I want to really emphasize, the importance of how we understand the biblical sense of what love is, because it's defining basically all that our Messiah did for us when he was on the cross, and what our Creator wants with us is to have a relationship, that love relationship, right? So with that being said, everyone, let's get started. And what I'm going to do is share my screen. I'm going to start, let's see. I'm going to start here. See if we can get the right tab. So I was looking, I typed in love, but also I wanted to show, it's very interesting to me how it comes up in the lexicon 20 times in Hebrew and 20 times in the Greek. Isn't it interesting? It's 20, which equals 40. And now I clicked, well, actually it was already clicked on any part of the word, any part of the word, right? And so let's look at all the different terms and then kind of go from there. Let me go ahead and hide that little guy there. But so in H157, we have ahab, which is love, lovers, friends, beloved, like, lovely, loving. So if we look at all of these, we have, different forms of them, right? We have 158, we have 159, we have H160. They're all similar, but just a little different. And what I wanted to show was some really interesting things down here that pertain to this, the different forms of this word. And agape is down further, but for instance, we have dod, which is beloved, uncle, love, father, brother, well beloved. I mean, it's basically all the different types of relationships, when you look at all these terms. And I'm not going to go into depth and try to, go through these, but you can see them on the screen hopefully here. And one that I thought was really interesting, and I'm not reading all these, but hopefully you guys can see these. I wanted to share in the Greek also, but this is, so let me just go over a few of these. Like Raham is mercy, compassion, pity, love, mercy. So this one's really interesting. It's Sisa, which is cloven-footed, cleave, and it's actually the clove word, but it's love in the middle of it, which I found was really interesting. It's any part of the word. So, just really interesting how, words within words, right? So in the Greek here, we have love, beloved, agape. So this is where we get agape is G26. And agape is in some of the most profound Bible verses, which I'll share later, is like, for instance, 1 John 5:3, which is like the true definition of biblical love towards our Father. We must also love him. And so there's a lot of different forms of love, but agape is really one that's talked about a lot in the scriptures. Charity, dear charitability, and a feast of charity. And if we look at even some of these down here, where like G5207, it was really interesting to me, because this is basically our, talking of our Messiah. We have the Son of Man, Son of God, children, Son, his Son, Son of David, my beloved Son, the Son only, begotten Son. So begotten Son, that's actually in, John 3:16, right? So it's just really, really cool, really interesting. So these are all the numbers. So if you ever want to, research the different ways that love comes up, this is where you can find it. And I'm using the Blue Letter Bible here. So I just wanted to share that with you. And then let me go back here, because I was looking at the dictionary. Let's go through this real quick. There's some different definitions here. Like we have the International Standard Encyclopedia for definitions here. We have brotherly kindness, brotherly love, brotherly feast, money, the love of money. And in, so a lot of these are different definitions. It's kind of interesting to kind of look through some of these. Like this one, Touré's new topical textbook, love of Christ, love of God, love of man. So, there's a lot to, go through here, but I wanted to share with you, before we get started, I wanted to share this with you. This is basically the way of love in 1 Corinthians 13. And so let's read this. This is really, I actually did this in the ESV, so it's easier to understand for everyone, but I prefer the King James because you can actually do Strongs. This version doesn't show the Strongs. So I may look at the Strongs later for you all, but even the first few verses is really profound. So if I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am a noisy gong, or a clanging cymbal. And verse 2 says, and if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. And that says a lot. I mean, it's like, we need love and faith to move mountains, but if we don't have, charity and love towards other people, then we are nothing. Our Messiah, Yahusha, is love. God is love. So verse 3 here, it says, if I give away all I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing. I mean, what a profound statement that is, right? Just meditating on that is really profound. So let's look from 13:4 all the way to 8. Basically says what love is all about. So love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes for all things, endures all things. Love never ends. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. So I just wanted to share that because that's just very, very important to understand. This is outlining a lot of how we interact with others with love, right? So over here, actually talking about agape again, I wanted to show the definition because we have to do this. This is part of our research here, agape, and it is G26, and it shows up in this manner of love, charity, dear, charitable feast of charity. So it's a lot of affection, goodwill, love, benevolence, brotherly love feasts. And the definitions here from G25, love, i.e. affection and benevolence, specifically plural, a love feast of charitable and dear love. So when you look at the lexicon, there's actually a lot here in that, and it's actually really, really good to look at this. I mean, you can go through a lot of this, but it shares with you affection, goodwill, and where that shows up in the Greek and all the scriptures. You can go through all the scriptures. I mean, love is a very big and huge part of the Bible. I mean, there is so many scriptures and so many things that talk about love in the Bible. So I would encourage you guys, to go through some of this. It's very interesting. I mean, there's so much here, with the lexicon. You can just hover over a verse, and it has, like, for 1 Thessalonians 1:3, remembering without ceasing your work of faith and labor of love and patience of hope in our Yahushua HaMashiach, in the sight of Elohim and our Father. So it's just really awesome. There's so many verses about this, but so I wanted to share that. That's agape. And what I want to do is actually share with you, and maybe I have it up here on another section. Actually, no, I'm going to go to it here. If we go to one of my favorite verses, is right here, 1 John 5:3. For this is, nope, the screen just changed on me. Sorry about that. Let me try it again. First John 5:3. For this is the love, G26, of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous or not burdensome in some translations. So there's so many that correspond with G26. 2 John 1:6 says, and this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, you should walk in it. You know, we are to keep the commandments, right? Like I've said over and over again. I know that I shared some of these on the first video, and but we can go over a few of them. Oops. Let me click on this one here. Let me go back. Well, the computer is messing with me, guys. I don't know what's going on here, so hold on one moment. I was trying to share 1 John 4:12. No man has seen God at any time. If we love one another, God dwelleth in us, and his love is perfected in us. That is so amazing. Just that one verse is just so amazing when you think about it. So yeah, in 1 John, there's so many verses on this, and even in Peter, I think there was a couple in Peter I wanted to share too. So let's see. 10:24, and let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. Greet one another with a kiss of charity. Peace be with you, all that are in Mashiach Yahusha. Amen. So it would take me too much time to go over all the verses. As you can see, there's so many verses on love. But what I wanted to do was talk more about the depth of this subject. And I'm going to share this with you, which is Ahab, which is one of the first ones that will pop up when you type in love. It's H157, and this basically is the most common of the understanding of love in the word, and it's in the Bible 169 times as love, lovers as 19, friends as 12, beloved as 5, liketh as 1, lovely as 1, and loving as 1. The biblical outline of this is love, to love, right? Human love for one another, including family and sexual, human appetite for objects such as food, drink, sleep, and wisdom, human love for or to Elohim, to God, an act of being a friend, lover, participle, friend, God's love towards man, to individual men, to people in Israel, to righteousness. Righteousness is love. Love is righteousness. So this is really cool. You know, this is, you know, but you can also look when you read, I was looking earlier on this in the lexicon. There's also bad senses of the word love also, right? But let's read some of this in this section. It says to desire, to breathe after anything, the significance, signification of breathing after, hence of longing, is proper to the syllables and with the letters softened. So this will give you like even more understanding when you look into here. But what I thought was really interesting was, see if I can find it here. So it can also be in the bad sense, where it says in part 2 here, a lover, especially in a bad sense, one given to licentious intercourse, debauchery, I guess, always thus used a metaphor of idolaters, hence the following word. So, you know, all people can also love idolatry, right? They can love things that are not good. They can love things in the world, you know. And let me go back to my screen here. I hope you can all see me. I hope I don't have to do this twice. But let me stop sharing my screen here for a moment. And so let's talk about this a little bit. You know, in the first part of my video, I shared the scriptures and I shared what it meant, what it means basically to be in the love of our Father, because he gave his only begotten Son for us, right? Which is the most powerful understanding of this biblical love. When, you know, when our Messiah gave his life for us, this is the love that we must have for us, for our family and others, right? And it's hard to fathom sometimes, because we have to, it's a process, right? We have to get to that place where we would do these things for other people, right? We would want to risk our lives through sacrifice to protect others, or, you know, these type of things. And I didn't actually put it up here, but I should have. But sacrifice is a form of love, right? It's what we think of when this subject comes up, because in everything that we do, you know, if we help someone, you know, or if we're doing work, we're sacrificing in a way. We're doing stuff to receive something. But if we do it out of love, you know, not expecting anything back, this is how we are to be, right? When you give freely. When you you know, you feed someone, or you're trying to help someone because their car's broken down on the side of the road, and you don't, you know, want anything from that. You want to help the person. I mean, this is how we're supposed to be, right? We're supposed to be in this kind of love for each other. I mean, imagine if, you know, all of humanity had this understanding and walked as our Messiah did. You know, he loved his enemies. He prayed for his enemies. It's a hard thing to do, because, you know, we want to, you know, when we were as little children, we were taught up to just, like, you know, we're always, you know, fighting each other, you know, in the schoolyard. Oh, he called me this, or, you know, oh, he hit me first, or she spit at me, or whatever, you know, all the stories we may have as children. But we learn throughout our lives how to interact with each other. And as we are cleansing ourselves, becoming more spotless, especially after we are born again and transformed, that love starts to really work and flow in us. And this is, in essence, walking in our Messiah, for he is love. And this is why I wanted to make this video was, and I don't know if I said this in the last video, but we have gotten so far away from it. Everyone is lovers of themselves. They are lovers of things. They are covetous. This world is very self-centered, and this would be in the bad sense of love. They love the things that are here in the flesh, the beast system things, drinking energy drinks and all these things, or whatever it may be, having, cars and homes and just always wanting more, never satisfied. There's only one way to fill up your cup. There's only one way to have a whole heart, and that is to empty out all the dross, all the things that we don't need, and fill yourself up with the love of the Father. Because we can't enter into his presence if we are, continuing in our sin, right? Of course, we will all be judged, but the whole point is that we are coming through a time of filtering. We're coming through a time of refining, like fine gold and silver. We're coming through a time of the separation of the wheat and the tares, and all these things, because what is in a heart of a person will be exposed. And the heart of man is evil. The heart of men and women, all of us, mankind, is evil. And the intent is evil. And that's why we must have our Messiah. We must be in a relationship with him and be saved and be renewed in him. We have to live in love because he is love. You see the connection there? He is love. We must live in him. We live in Christ. We are the body of Christ. We cannot be in the body of Christ if we are not of love. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so when people buy, stuff on this V-Day that was on the 14th, which I don't celebrate. But, if you don't have somebody, sometimes people are like, oh, I don't have a partner. They get sad. And a lot of these man-made traditions are made to cause more pain in people's lives than it is meant for anything. I mean, yeah, people would give each other roses. They take people to dinner. Why don't we do this all the time? Why do we just do this on this day? Why is it so special on that day? Why, we have to ask ourselves these questions. When someone's in need, are we willing to help them? When someone is depressed and near wanting to give up in their life, are we there to help them? There are so much and so many that need help in this world. This is the work that we must do, because the Christ, the Messiah, whatever you want to call it, the Mashiach that is in us must shine forth to others, right? By our good works, by what we do. We will not have salvation unto good works, but this is why he gave us a gift. He gave us the gift, right? It is a free gift, but we must turn from our ways and do the good works, because even our Messiah, our Yahusha, he really had a heart. He really wanted people that were in error to, turn from their ways. But it was up to the person. Most of the time, it was up to the person, right? They have to decide inside themselves that, I don't want to be this way anymore. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go down this road. I don't want to be loving the world anymore. You know, there's so many people that love the things of the world. This is that other kind of love I'm talking about. The love that we should be in is the love of our Father and the love that he has for us. It's a relationship. It's like a love story, right? We're the bride. We are the prodigal sons, the ones that run back to the Father. In the story of the prodigal son, I think it's in Luke 15, right? Where I've done video on, and it's basically, you know, we are to come back to him. He loves us. He is the creator of love. And if we don't have love in us, then we don't have any part in him, because he is love. So I just, I love this teaching, you know, because if you were to sum up like what we are here to do, it's in the second commandment: love your neighbor as yourself. Your neighbor is not necessarily your neighbor down the street. It's everyone that you meet, every brother and sister that you meet. That is your neighbor. And the first commandment is like unto it, right? Love your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. It's all about love, right? Love your neighbor, love your God. Isn't that so simple? Why is it that this world is so far away from the truth? This world is so far away, and it's so in hatred, it's so in selfishness and all these things, is because people don't obey the commandments. They don't understand the connection we must have with the Most High. It really is sad when you think about it, because it's a simple thing. You know, we all have, I mean, not all of us, but there's some of us that have family members and children, even kids, you know, that could be younger or older, that we don't see as much, you know. Where I have a situation where, you know, I wish my children would see me more and come and visit me more, but there's some things that need to be healed there, and some things that need to be forgiven. I have forgiven, but it's all up to the person's heart. You know, it takes both sides, right? The man and the woman, the child and the father or the mother. You know, it takes both people coming together in love. But we can't not love people just because they're not loving us. That's not right, right? We're supposed to show them love so that they could feel that is what they need and that's what they want, right? It's all about drawing them into that forgiveness, that love that we have. So I am just going to end here pretty soon, but I just wanted to say with this teaching, there's much more I could go on. And I'm probably forgetting a few things that I shared in that 7 minutes, but that was basically it. I wanted to share what I shared with you here. And, you know, I think when we're looking into these words in the Hebrew and the Greek in the Bible, even if you don't have to use my sources, you can go and look at, you know, whatever dictionaries you want, encyclopedias. There's so much to learn. But if you just think, and the purpose of this video, the greatest love is the love of our Father, the love of the Son, the only begotten Son, who gave his life. You know, he came to earth in the flesh to take away the sin of the world, right? And we are not greater than the Master. and we must in different ways sacrifice daily. And what we do, if we're helping others, if we're in a situation where we're tired and we just don't want to do this for this person, but we do it out of love, we sacrifice in many ways, right? And this is how we should continue to be into the future. We should go the extra mile for people, at least try to, ask a person like, hey, you need anything, because right now there's so many people that are afraid to, their pride gets in the way. They're afraid to talk about these things. They don't want to say, oh, my husband and I are having some problems, or if it's not that personal, but if it's like, oh, we can't make the rent this month, or we don't have any money for food. But they're just, there's a lot of people that have these problems all the time, all over the country, but they just don't know where to go or how to handle it. Of course, there's services for this too, but that's why I'm saying, like, it's always a good thing if you sense from someone that they're in need or they're in help of something, or even just a conversation. They want to have a conversation with someone so they can digest some things, and they can kind of like throw some things out there and see what you feel about them, and just pray about these things, right? This is what we're called to do, is pray with people, and just community, right? Community and preparing for the future, right? Growing our own food, and trying to get out of the things that hurt us, the system that hurts us, that the system that weighs us down and pulls us away from the truth. We want to walk towards the truth on the narrow path. And the only way to be on the narrow path is to love other people and to love your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. So with that being said, everyone, I hope this kind of wrapped up this second edition a little bit. It's not super in detail. I'm not going to do a third series on this one, part 3, but just remember that the love that comes from heaven, the love that comes from the Father, is the most incredible love that we will ever feel. It is a continuous love, a very merciful love, and a passionate love. There's even scripture that says that it is, if I remember, I can't remember where it is, but it is it's a duty of God to love his children. It's a duty for us to love him. The whole duty of man in Ecclesiastes, right, is to obey the commandments. So we must do the things that he loves and wants us to do, his testimonies, his precepts, his statutes, and his feasts, and all the things that he created. He created for us because he loves us. So let's do those things. And I love each and every one of you. Agape, aloha, shalom, and I look forward to the next time. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing next time, but have a great day, everyone. And I happened to be off today, so I did this video, but be praying for me. I have some things going on with, maybe possibly moving to a different place, a smaller place. So maybe say a prayer for me that it works out good. And I'm trying to downsize, and I'll be praying for all of you. All right. Aloha.